Llama talk. Blah, 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 blah. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. Jack, how's it going?
Hey, hey Magnus, I'm doing good. Doing good. How are you doing?
I already pointed out before, but I mean, don't isn't his haircut just lovely?
Yeah.
Everybody who's watching this are millions of zero viewers that's right here right now. But anyway, Survivor, eventful episode, lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Great season, best ever. Certainly meets up the hype. Let's get into
Well,
it, Jack.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think this season pre-merge was definitely, like we've been saying, really lackluster and didn't really live up to the hype. But I actually like this episode. What episode was this?
This
This was episode like 6,
this is eight.
right? 8.
Well, this is like the seventh.
Um,
This is like the seventh week. I did like episode 4/5. Like some people view that as one
yeah.
episode. I viewed it as two. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think the strategy's picking up a bit. Uh, I think it was kind of a lot more entertainment than like last few weeks and stuff. And I don't know. I liked it a lot, I guess.
there was definitely parts of this. I didn't think it was a horrible episode. Like I thought
Yeah.
it had some. I thought it had some good moments, but I think a lot of what is making me hate this season more is like other Survivor fans. Like it's just annoying me so much hearing what other people have to say about it because there are certain people I just like can't stand, and those people are being like worshipped by a weird group of Survivor fans that just like obsess over like Shireen or Den. And it's like it just baffles me and it bugs me. But on the whole, the episode I thought it was a fairly strong episode. Obviously, the outcome was pretty lame. Once again, like there was like if you honestly thought that Dan was going home, like you're a fucking idiot. Like
Yeah.
this is what they've done the entire season. It's just like it's like another editing trick that they normally haven't done, where they're just like, okay, we're gonna edit this person horribly, horribly, horribly this episode, so you think he's gonna go home, but then he won't. But obviously they're setting up Dan for a huge blindside down the road. But Haley versus Dan, I don't really care who goes home. Haley brought nothing to the table,
Mhm.
um, and Dan, I thought Dan like we'll get more into Dan. What did you think about Dan? Because I think that people are really grilling him when I thought he was just like he's entertaining. He's entertaining. I think he's a good cat. Like there's a lot of people in this cast I thought originally were going to be great, but then they faltered and they're not entertaining whatsoever. But Dan's not one of those people. I feel like he has filled his position beautifully.
Yeah. I mean, Dan's great TV. I'm really happy he didn't go home so that we can see more of like Dan playing the game horribly because he's arguably one of the worst social players out there, and it's funny to watch. Like when he's trying to get Sharon to flip, and like he's like just like you suck. You're the worst person ever. You smell really bad. Like stop being a fucking loser. I'm trying to look out for you. I'm doing this in your best interest. And it's like, Dan, what are you doing? Like, you're not gonna get her to flip by like just grilling her the whole time. And I don't know. I liked it a lot. I mean, I
Yeah,
think he definitely exceeds everyone's expectations by making the merge, and now this, like, I honestly, we thought that he was gonna be maybe third out, second out. There was no way he was gonna make merge, and then he like makes it all the way over here, and I enjoy watching him. I think it's funny. I don't think he's a good player, but I think it's funny.
I think it's definitely funny, and I think that like he's not just like a bully to Shireen. Like it's not just like poor victim Shireen had like literally like none of it was there was no truth in anything Dan was saying. As everyone's like, but I mean honestly, when you look at Shireen's game, how she's for some odd reason so dead set on sticking with Joe, Jen, and Haley, who have basically alienated her for so long. It seems like just like the pathetic person trying so hard to fit in with the cool kids, even though there's a better option for her. So as much like as Dan did not
Mhm.
go about it in the right way, but I mean, I was funny to watch, and what I hate right now is have you heard about the drama going on like between Shireen and Dan? How Shireen didn't apologize nicely, and like, oh, I mean Dan didn't apologize nicely to Shireen, and like, there's a whole bunch of drama. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, like I don't. He fucking apologized. Like, just take the apology or don't. Like, even though he did it on Twitter and made it public, like, who cares? Like, he's apologizing, and like, if you don't want to accept it, okay. But like, they're making such a big deal. I don't really pay attention to it. It's stupid, and obviously the editors edited it, and I bet Shireen said a bunch of shit about Dan too, that they didn't like put in the episode. So like, where's that? It's like they obviously edited Dan as like a bad guy that episode, so it's like I feel like it's unfair to like everyone be hating on Dan when like other people obviously like do that behind the camera to like everyone else too. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that it's so stupid to be criticizing someone for doing a public apology for something that happened on a show that airs in front of 10 like million people. It's a public show. And it's just so fucking annoying to me. And then you have all these people who are like, "Oh my God, Dan is abusive. He threatened to like physically assault Sharon," when he's just all he said was like, "Geez, that girl's so annoying. When I like, someone needs to smack her upside the head, knock that annoying out of her." Like, that's not like I'm gonna go to her house and kill her in her shitty apartment. It's not like that, okay? And people are like, when he says Shanini or whatever her name is, like, "Oh, Dan's racist just because the name isn't Dan or some white name that's easy to pronounce. People think Dan's racist now." It's just like, you guys need to calm down. And then the worst part is that Jen fucking pops in on Twitter
Yeah.
to like call Dan out when Dan like, don't even get me started on this shit because Jen has been talking shit about everybody. I'm sure, like, she's talked shit about Shireen in confessionals, and I'm sure the worst were not aired whatsoever. Like, it was
Yeah.
not aired. And
Yeah.
Jen just needs to stay out of it. She's only a 22-year-old girl. She is so immature. She feels like she is literally the most arrogant person that might have ever been on the show. Because she thinks that she's like the center of everything. She's the center of attention all the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It did piss me off when Jen popped in and stuff like that, and I get where you're coming from, but like, I don't know, just like let them handle it. I feel like people make it out to be such a like big deal. Like, yeah, Jen's been making fun of everyone. Like, everyone makes fun of anyone on that show, and like, it's what the editors choose to put out that people see, and they're making a huge deal about it. It's like a lot of shit you're gonna say is gonna get aired, like when you come home and you're watching the season. So like, you don't know what's gonna get put out, and like Jen and like everyone's just like said a bunch of shit about Shireen. Like, we've seen like even in like secret scenes and stuff like that, and like they're just attacking Dan because they feel like they can just like kind of gang up on that. I don't know. I don't know why they do it, but whatever.
Yeah, and like Shireen, she's such a martyr. She's such a martyr, and it's really annoying. Like, you're going on a TV show, you signed up for it. You should have a thick skin. And right now she's acting like the little like 7-year-old who's like gets stuffed in the locker and then goes crying home to their mommy afterwards. Like, you can't be that way on Survivor, even if it's unfair. But like, the thing is, it's just one fat bald guy who's making a few like snide comments, and
Yeah.
it might just be a culmination of like, because honestly, from my point of view, having an entire tribe of no-callers deduce their vote based off of who is to the core as a human being more annoying, Max or Sheeran, I feel like that might be a little bit more insulting to watch on TV than one fucking Shanini comment. Okay, but that's just me. But maybe Dan invites this constant criticism while people like Jen, it's just like, oh, she's just, just let it go because Joe, Jen, and Haley are just like the coolest people. But anyway, the point is Mike is awesome. That's the overarching point. And people are pissed because he's getting a great edit. I understand. Root for the underdogs. That's great. All I'm saying is that Jen's fucking annoying, and Joe is literally he brings nothing to the table in terms of entertainment except for challenge wins. Like, I don't know what casting was thinking, but this guy, like, my mom is not the biggest Survivor fan. She doesn't know anything about casting, But she's like, that guy's boring as hell, and how the hell did he get on the show? Like, isn't casting's job to make sure? Like, I'm sure there's athletic people who are also interesting. You know, athletic, handsome people who are also interesting, but I guess that's not what they want anymore. They just want people like Brett from Samoa. That's honestly how I view Joe at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people. Joe's one of those guys who they know the casual fans are gonna like, and it's working. You know, a lot of people really like Joe, and he's like kind of like he reminds me a lot of Ozzy from Cook Islands, original Ozzy, and a little bit like Malcolm from Philippines and stuff, where like people really like to root for him and stuff, and he's like the underdog, and I feel like that's why a lot of people root for him, and I do like. I think it's cool that he keeps winning, and I think that if Mike was smart, he'd keep him around longer because, first off, Mike's playing a great game right now, and if he doesn't win, it will just be one of those classic like, oh, it's far and like he should have won kind of edits, you know. But right now he's edited as like the winner, and I don't know, but yeah, I mean, Joe's just Joe's like I feel like it's also the editors. It's not just Joe that's being boring because like I heard that Joe was like sick leading up to the merge and his first individual immunity win, and that's something they could have shown, and that would have been a good like story to tell where he's like super sick, and then they come to the challenge and he's able to stay on that thing for like the longest time and like just win the challenge and be safe for like one more vote, and like that would have been a good story, but they didn't use it, and there's obviously a reason they're not using it. There's obviously a reason it's kind of being like portrayed as boring, but like we can't really say he's boring from like an outside perspective, you know. But like on the show, they are having a lack of Joe and stuff, and a lack of its
All I'm
story.
saying is if Joe was like a Tyson, or Joe was any type of athletic person, like a Malcolm who also has good personality, I feel like they would have should like there's an underdog story of him, having a cold and then winning the challenge. Because maybe they don't want to show that because they don't want to do two winners in it on him. Because when he gets voted off 2 episodes from now because he finally lost a fucking challenge, people will not be too sad about it. They'll be like, oh god, I don't get to look at his chiseled features anymore, but maybe I can actually look for someone who's good at the game. Maybe. But all I'm saying is that Joe needs to step it up. Because, like, strategically, it just hasn't been there. He's still doing this like, oh, I'm just gonna fly by the seat of my pants and hope it works out, and it's not gonna work out that well for him, because especially like my favorite scene in the whole episode was the the clue, everything surrounding the clue, how Joe chokes on it, Tyler sees it, they stake out in the morning, Mike like sneaks up on them, like, and I just thought that whole entire thing was really cool, but Joe played it fucking terribly. Like, I know Tyler saw him, so he had to do something, he had to say something, but, I mean, saying it, like, you're the biggest threat. Like, Joe is the biggest threat in the game. And why would you give an idle clue to someone who voted against you last week, who could potentially tell that to other Alliance members? And I know Tyler is, like, the one person that's really good at sitting on information, but you got to think if you're Joe that, okay, if I win immunity and I have an immunity idol, that's 2 challenges I'm safe for. Because I know he's trying to pull in Tyler, but that isn't going to work. People aren't going to take Joe to the end. It's not going to happen. He's going to have to win his way there. At this point, he didn't do a good enough job socially and didn't do a good enough job mediating his huge physical target.
I mean...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Joe couldn't have played it any better than he did. Like, he was kind of screwed by Tyler, like, knowing he had the clue, and by sharing it with Tyler, it kind of, like, strengthens their trust. I thought, like, that was the only move Joe can made, and I think he played it pretty well. I disagree with you in saying he played it terribly, because even Tyler said it would be best for my game if Joe found the idol, too. If I find an idol, that's great. But if Joe finds the idol, that's still good for my game because they're still, like, both sides are gunning for each other. And I think he knows where Tyler's head's at, and he knows Tyler's an important swing vote. So by sharing with that, he's strengthening the trust. But I think Mike played this the best, actually.
Well, yeah, he did it right in front of Mike. Like, he's like, oh, yep, Tyler. Ty, what's up? Come over here, let me show you this clue. And Mike's fucking awake. And I know it's dark, but, like, Mike
Well, I mean,
was
he did it
there.
silently. He did it silently.
I know, but like, I mean, I think he could have waited for a bit. Like, it's a huge island. You're so bored all the time. I'm sure you could be like, "Yo, Tyler, get some firewood," and Mike wouldn't be there. But I feel like it could have been at a better time, and I feel like all the stuff with Mike calling out Joe, saying like, "Oh, so I'm bound to idol." I don't really know why Joe would really, agree to that. Because even if he says like, "Nope, dude, I honestly don't know what you're talking about." Like, if you're trying to throw me under the bus right now, that's like good on you, but I
Well,
really don't know what you're talking about. Because they're gonna think he has an idol anyway. They're gonna split the votes anyway.
I know,
So
but here's the thing, though. I think it was great play by Mike and a great play by Joe. And, what can Joe do when Mike's already been spreading the rumor that, oh, yeah, he has the clue. And then when Mike says, yeah, he found it, it's in his pocket, I think the only thing Joe can do at that point is be like, yeah, I have the clue, and stop looking. Because if he stops looking, everyone thinks that he has the idol. And if he starts looking, everyone's going to know he doesn't have the idol. And that's going to put more of a target on his back. So Mike played it perfectly where he knew Joe would have to stop looking in order to play off that, oh, yeah, I have the idol situation so that Mike could go look, and Mike eventually found the idol. So I thought it was the best thing they both could do, but I think Mike definitely kind of forced Joe into that corner where it's like you have to stop looking so that everyone thinks you have it. Because
yeah, but
sometimes it's best for people to think you have it rather than actually flaunting it around that you have it.
but isn't it like a catch-22? Because aren't the people who have idols also the people who should be looking for idols to make people think that they don't have idols?
Yeah.
Because I think that if Joe had an idol, he would still pretend to look for idols anyway. So no matter what, I feel like Joe's gonna pretend to look for idols. That's what I would do if not like if I was in Joe's position, I'd be not discreet about it at all because I'm literally hanging on a thread right now because and when you think about it, Joe like Joe and Tyler have the same bodies, like the same with Rodney. They're like this, like they're all physically fit, really good people, and Joe easily could have played the game from day one like Tyler, like easily. So it's not just like dealt a bad hand and just like who he is as a person, just like so much strategically better. I'm bitching a lot this episode, but I just think that and I'm really disappointed in the no callers in terms of their strategy. Like if you look at the secret scenes, like Jen is complaining about like, oh, Joe didn't pick me for a reward and blah blah blah, and that was a good move. I'm glad Joe picked the
Yeah.
right people for a reward. But you could see that throughout the game, it was like back in Marquesas where the no callers were just like they're just like, oh, let's just bond as a tribe, like let's just do that. And Haley has said in her exit interviews like they didn't play the game one iota, nothing. They were just talking, having fun, and she regrets that. And that's how the no callers played, and it's disappointing. Season 30, it's season
Well,
fucking 30 of Survivor. You have to come to play.
I mean, I feel like the one thing I do like about Joe is that he seems like to have his head in the game more than any other no caller, at least, where, I really liked his picks, and I feel like everyone out there really, knew, respected that he was playing the game when he made those picks. And, I don't know. I thought it was good, but it kind of it may have backfired, because in the secret scenes, or, in Haley's exit interview, you could tell that if Joe hadn't won immunity again, that Jen and Haley were going to vote him out. And I don't know, maybe his picks could have weakened their bond together, but I don't know. That's that's weird, right?
Yeah, but the thing about Joe is like, I mean, you can argue like, oh yeah, now he's starting to come up to bat, like play the game. But it's literally like we had to like bludgeon him in the head with a baseball bat to get him to start playing. Like if he was voted off at the tribal where he should have gone before the merge, then he wouldn't have played at all. And he needs he was literally in desperation mode. And when you're in desperation mode, you have to play. That's what you have to do. You have to squirm. And even at that mode, he's just still. And maybe he has like permanent high. I don't know. But like I think he's too laid back. And being laid back is good. Like I think Mike is really like the perfect balance of laid back, just going with the flow. Even though Kelly's gone, he can still work around it, but also focused and hardworking. And I feel like Tyler might be at the other end of the spectrum where he might be like strategizing and just like being too meticulous and not having these moments where he just kind of let go.
Hmm.
But and Joe's definitely just like laid back, not doing much.
I
But
don't know. I disagree with you. I think I no doubt Mike's playing the best
why do
game
you
there.
like Joe's? Like what is Joe doing that's making you so
I don't
like
know. I
love him
think
as much?
he actually tries to make those connections with people when he picked. I liked his picks he made a lot. That really factors into it. I think he's playing a good I don't know, social game. He's too big of a threat. That's his one downfall. He's way too big of a threat, and everyone wants to take him out. But I think if Mike's smart, Mike knows that, it's like pull an Aris, pull, a Tony, and start chopping off your own alliance. Keep Joe in, take out all the like guys that can beat Joe because they're gonna need you to beat Joe, and like keeping him in as a big target. And that's what I would do if I was Mike.
No,
And
that's definitely what I would do.
I kind of like Joe's like position in the game right now, if that makes sense. I like the role he's playing. I don't think Joe's the best player there. I think, yeah, he can be too laid back sometimes, but I don't think he's a terrible player, and I like the role he's playing in the game right now.
All you're saying is that he picked the like right people to go on the reward. But like honestly, did he really? I think Sierra, if he was, observant enough
Uh-huh.
and like it was pretty obvious on the like swap tribe, or maybe it didn't get around to Joe, Sierra like screaming with the megaphone that she hated Dan and Rodney. I don't know,
Yeah.
Joe had earplugs during that moment, but I feel like he could have, worked on Sierra more.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
I just feel like
agree.
he didn't milk all the connections. Like he was just so quick to run back to Jen and Haley. And if the only thing we can attribute to him is that he like he picked some swing votes to go in the reward, and picking Shireen, you know pissed off a few people. Like I just feel like I mean, I can't think we can chalk it up as a bad move, but I
Mhm.
don't think it goes in like Joe's failure. I just don't think he's doing much other than winning challenges, and that is the role. Like you said, he's filling this role good. It's challenge guy. It's the underdog challenge guy who people implicitly just like.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I liked his picks in a sense where like his intentions were like the right intentions, but I feel like the move he made was a bad one where it's like, okay, if you really want to swing people over, pick like Jen or Haley or both, and then pick someone you know that you can like try to convince over to your side, someone that's on the edge that like might want to flip. Take Carolyn, take Tyler, offer them something they don't have, offer them the clue to hit an immunity idol, say that you're going to keep them safe, that they're not on the bottom. That's what I would do if I were him, because he just took a bunch of people that, like, he took Will, who's on the other side now. He took Tyler, he took Carolyn, he took Sharon. Like, those are all people that you don't have enough influence to flip because they're the majority then, and you're the minority. How are you going to convince them by like your nice gesture that they should work with you? So I feel like his move, its intentions were good, but the move itself, yeah, I think it wasn't that great of a move.
Yeah, and the thing is that Carolyn fucking hates Shireen, and so does Will, and probably Tyler. I'm pretty sure like everybody on that reward hated Shireen, so they were just gonna be annoyed with her the whole time. I don't think it might have just been like, oh, I went ziplining with you, so you owe me, but it didn't look like they used that as like a groundbreaking alliance strategic talk type thing. It was just a great moment. And you know what annoys me about Joe? Maybe he's super charismatic. Maybe people just like flutter at the sight of him because he's so handsome. Or I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just fucking lucky. But when he just says like, "Damn, I'm really thirsty. I wish I had a soda right now," and then Carolyn's like, "Oh, take this clue-filled soda," right? Like, I was just like, how did that fucking work? How in what universe does that actually work? And Carolyn even said it like in confessional, like, I cannot believe I did that. I cannot believe I did that. Because Carolyn knew right when she handed it over, like
Oh, really?
that she screwed up because she
Well,
saw it. But I just think like this is the type of shit that happens for Joe. And I like, okay, talking about tribal council, we haven't even really talked about it. We're just talking about everything as a whole. like I'm annoyed with people because people are like, oh, Queen Haley, goddess, she's gone. Oh my God. And honestly, she didn't do anything. She says she didn't do anything. Everyone like it's like some things are just true. Global warming is a thing. You can't just be like, oh, it's not happening. Like it's happening. Haley didn't play the game,
Yeah,
and as
I
much as
don't.
like, oh, she had some funny confessionals about the Declaration of Independence and like that really stupid thing about the colonists flipping on like the greatest empire in the world, and I was just like, oh my God, like I know she's straight out of law school and stuff, but as a poli sci major, and like I met some other people, that sound like they're a lot younger, but they still sound smarter than that. Like, who would hire that to be in a court with them? Like,
I
I don't
mean,
know where like Haley's cast role was supposed to be as like a strategic, cutthroat lawyer type person. She said that in an interview, and she's like went to shreds, right? Like, I don't know how people go on the show when they're expected to fill a role and then just do the exact opposite. It's annoying. I'm sure casting hates that. I hate it also.
I mean, unless you're Spencer, casting hates it. But yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't get where the love for Haley comes from because aside from her, like how she acts and her like funny confessionals and stuff like that, she brought nothing to the table. And I don't think she'd be missed. I don't want to see her again in another season because honestly, she didn't bring anything to the table, and it was boring. Like you could have Jen, and Jen like seems to have more funny confessionals. Funny, I use funny loosely. More funny confessionals than Haley, and I'd rather see like bring Jen back than Haley because they seem like the same person, and I'm not sad to see Haley go. You know?
No, I'm definitely. I thought Haley was gonna be in the final three. Like, I really sincerely like thought she was getting that type of edit. But like, no callers are just like the type of people. It really bugs me because like you're on Survivor, you have to like smarten up. Like, come on. But they they have one good conversation about strategy with someone like Sierra, and they all of a sudden think like, oh, we have her. She's on our side. Like, we're gonna go through this tribal council. It's gonna work out as planned. Like, how gullible can you? Of course, she's gonna say yes. Everyone says yes all the time in Survivor. If you're not saying yes to everyone's strategic plans, then you're not playing it right. Okay, the problem is deducing if yes means yes or if yes means no, and it's different in different contexts. But I feel like the no call is just like, yeah, man, like Will, thanks for sticking with us. Like they still don't even know if Will flipped or if Shireen flipped. They don't know. People on the island in you know 6 months ago at this point in the game, they had no idea if Will was still on their side or not. Like this, it's absurd. It's absurd to me.
It's the one thing I hate now. My new pet peeve for Survivor is when it says hashtag blindside and it's not fucking blindside. Haley may have been stupid enough to believe that Sierra was on their side, but like they talked for like 30 minutes, like the day before or something, right? Or right before they went to tribal council. They have her on a girls' alliance. Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, how could you not see this coming? It's not a blindside. She's just really stupid. I don't know. It pisses
Yeah.
me off.
Okay. So speaking, we haven't talked about Rodney at all, because I'm thinking actually, like Rodney's getting like pretty good. I think his confessionals are pretty funny. I don't think he's as off-putting as certainly I'm not living with him, but I don't think he's as off-putting to viewers as a lot of people are making out to him to be. I thought the stuff at the beginning of the episode, whatever the salami nonsense or whatever was happening, I thought it was pretty funny because he did have a point. Like he just asked one thing, and then Shireen was saying, no, 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 like why do you care? It's not a big deal. And then Rodney's like, well, why? Like if it's not a big deal, why can't we just do it? And I was like, you know what, Rodney, that's actually true. Like Shireen was equally, like in terms of that argument, I feel like Shireen was equally kind of annoying also. But strategically, Rodney's playing a pretty good game. I don't think he's going
Shireen,
to win, but he's playing strategically better than certainly someone like Shireen.
Shireen is probably my least favorite person on this entire cast. Like, altogether, you take everyone from this cast, I would pick Shireen last. Just not because she's the victim or something, but because she's so fucking annoying and she doesn't bring anything to the table. I think like she tries to be funny. I think Jeff like tries to think that she's gonna be like a funny character with that like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the opposite of a bomb thing, in the challenge, and like it's not funny. I don't care about Shireen. I hate Shireen, and I understand why Caroline and Tyler hate Shireen too, and everyone. And it's she's so annoying. She's so annoying,
No,
and like
she's so awkward and so insecure, and it's like I feel like she knows that she doesn't bring much to the table, which is why she goes into confessional like, oh my god, a puzzle challenge, like I can do puzzles, like I'm smart. That's why they put me on. Like, oh, I should have won it. Like, no, Shireen, you're not entitled to win puzzle challenges. You're not smarter than the rest of them just because you're a Yahoo executive, and a lot of her path in life probably had to do with like the right connections. Like, let's be honest, that's how those type of jobs work.
mhm.
Um, and I'm not saying that like that's still a huge accomplishment, and I'm not just gonna be like shitting on her like, oh, she sucks, she's this and that. I just feel like she's not meant for the show Survivor because she is just awkward. She's pretty insecure, and I think that it's just like unpleasant watching her her interactions with Dan on social media, being like, I'm not expecting the apology because you didn't do it nice enough. Like, do it again. Like, it's like you guys are grown fucking adults. Like, you guys are
Yeah,
grown adults. If someone kind of, you know, like someone insulted, a few of my friends the other day, and I was just like, and then, we apologized, and like it worked out. Like that's how things work. Like, and I am a college student. Like, it's like, and it wasn't a big deal, dude. It's not a big deal. It's fucking Survivor. If I was on Survivor and I heard someone say like, dude, Magnus is a piece of shit. I fucking hate that guy. I want to spit in his fucking face. He's so annoying. Like, I would laugh about it. I would say, dude, what the hell? And and he would probably say, dude, I didn't mean it. I'd be like, okay, dude, it's fine. It's Survivor. Because
yeah,
that's the game. That's the game. It's fun going to confessional. You're fucking starving. I'm sure Dan, like the great
yeah,
thing about Dan is that he's fat. He's a fat guy, but he's not doing what Will's doing. It's just like being nothing and just being boring. He's channeling his loss of weight in an entertaining way.
yeah. I mean, you can't. The thing is, people try to like separate emotions from Survivor and stuff. You're out there for 30 days. You can't. You're playing a game. It's always the game. That's always the like forefront of your mind. But emotions do get put in that game. But it's still a game. It's still a game. People are out there, and they're out to win $1 million. And when they don't have numbers on their side, or when they're trying to get someone to flip, emotions come out. And don't blame them for that. I wouldn't blame them for that. If someone like said that to me, like you said, I would like understand where they're coming from because I was probably starving and really pissy out there too. And for Shireen to play the victim again, I just hate it. I hate it. Like who plays the victim more, Shireen or Cass? What do you think? Because they both seem to like play the same role, and it's so annoying. It's so
Shireen,
annoying.
Shireen's much more annoying than Cass was, in my opinion. And like both of them, like there's like an important thing with listening to what people say that it's just like exempt from them. They don't even like seem to be able to do this. What you have to do is when anybody says anything that might not be nice, or maybe it is nice, you have to think, especially in the game of Survivor, instead of thinking about what they just said, think about maybe like why are they saying it? Are they saying it maybe because I am being annoying? Maybe I have to adjust my social game. Are they saying it because maybe they're insecure? Maybe they've had a tough day. Maybe they're nervous about their own position in the game. Like, why are they doing this? And if you, do that enough and think about, people's intentions, why they're saying certain things, it makes you feel better. It makes you have a better understanding of the game. And I think it just makes everything better. And Shireen's just like, oh my God, he said a mean thing to me. And yet, like, it's just so one-track mind and just like, oh, that apology isn't genuine enough and blah, blah, blah. Maybe he wanted to put it on social media because it's hard for Dan to be constantly criticized for shit he did 7 months ago in a game show where he was starving and probably doesn't remember half of what he said. Like, it's probably hard for him to get so much backlash from people like, I fucking hate Dan. Dan is the worst piece of shit to ever be on the show. He wanted to put his apology on to make Shireen feel better because he might have thought like, oh, put it on Twitter, make her feel better. And too, so maybe people would get off his back a little bit. Like, can you blame him for wanting less hate mail? Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
I mean, he doesn't. He's a terrible social player. There's no denying that.
They're
You know.
terrible. Terrible.
But don't like fucking take it out on him because he said sorry and you don't accept his apology. Like I we've talked about this a lot, but just like who cares? Let Shrin and Dan deal with it. Or fucking Jen. If Jen wants to get in on it, fucking Jen can get on it and be super hypocritical. Fuck, I don't care. But I feel like people should leave it alone. Let it go. Let it go. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Jen said, like, Jen, I remember specifically a tweet of Jen's, like, around the third week when people were giving her, shit for being so mean to Nina, and she's just like, it's an edited TV show, this, and that, and that's completely wiped from her brain now that it's happening to someone else, and I just think that this cast, like, I just really, really, even if, like, Mike wins and Tyler makes it far, like, and it turns out to be a great season for the rest of the time, I just really don't like this cast. Like, I don't like their whole Dirty 30 thing. I feel like it's a lot of people who just try way too hard because they feel insecure or feel like they have to compensate for lacking in other qualities. Like, it's been an unpleasant season in my humble point of view, and I think that the Survivor community, they're just like, sometimes it's really awkward that they're just like, ha ha ha, what a great episode, like, the season's so great, like, oh my god, these characters are so fit, like, Survivor's still the best show, like, I thought the season was going to be great, and it is great, like, they can't just, like, look at it for what it is, which has been mediocre right now. That's how it's been for the most part, and people just need to chill out.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those seasons where it's like, after it's over, maybe a month after, it's gonna like register in people's mind that this was not that great of a season. It was lackluster. If Mike wins, it's gonna be exactly like Cochran, where it's like, oh man, I was rooting for Cochran the whole time, but that kind of really shitty season. Like nothing happened, and it's definitely not Cagayan, and it's definitely not living up to the hype. And I feel like it's definitely just gonna go down as like another Caramone.
Yeah, like, real talk right now, Tyler, I love Tyler. He's great. He's playing a great game. He's probably one of the few people I'm actually rooting for. But is he boring? Yes. Am I surprised he got cast? Absolutely. On any other season, would he really even be up to par in terms of entertainment with someone like a Malcolm or, even like half the people on Caramoan? Like, no. And that's my go-to guy to root for right now. Like, sure, it's cool, all of Tyler's confessionals and stuff, but, I mean, he's not really funny. He's not, like, in terms of strategy, he's playing all right, but it's not like he's a mastermind,
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of the challenges?
I thought the challenges, let me think about it. I thought the challenges, they were pretty similar. I didn't really care about them very much. I feel like the slide puzzle one was pretty boring. Everyone's like, oh, ha, 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 Dan screwed up the puzzle, and I just think, like, that's not that great of a Survivor moment. Like, I think it was like, oh my god, it's just a big goofball. Obviously, Joe wins the challenge. It's just like the immunity challenges have been kind of boring, and I mean, it's not a bad challenge. It's middle of the ground. I'm not upset.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I kind of like the first one. The second one, the slide challenges, I always hate because I suck at slide challenges, and I know I'd never win one of those if I were on Survivor. But like Dan messing up, I guess that was funny. That was entertainment. Like, I don't find anything wrong with that. But like then Joe wins and stuff, and I don't know. They were lackluster. I want them to move out of that spot. That's like the only spot they've done challenges, and I want them to get like back in the water or something. Like, don't make this another, like, we love Blood vs. Water 1. Like, we love that season because we're huge fans of Tyson. We thought it was a great season, but the challenges sucked, and the challenges were honestly the worst part of that season. And let's not make this another Blood vs. Water, right?
Yeah. And going back to what I was saying earlier about how people are so, like, gung-ho, like, really wanting themselves to, like, believe that this is, like, such a great season, like, if you look at like Max's comments, when he was saying like I guarantee you that like this could be the best season since Heroes versus Villains, and like it might even be better than that. And he didn't even experience it. Like he was off pre-merge. I think he's just like I don't know. I thought going into this season, Max was like super super cool and like he was gonna be like strategically this and that, but he's like kind of a weird dude.
Yeah,
That's what I've like
I
come
stopped
to
following him
understand.
on Twitter because he was getting annoying. He was getting annoying, and I don't know. Max really tries to play up. Like I feel like Max gets a lot of shit from fans now too, though. Don't get me wrong. Like I feel like Max is still like a cool guy, and I respect like that he's a huge fan of the show because like we're all huge fans of the show. We all love the show, But like he definitely plays it up way too much. And I don't need that.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know?
like obviously people are like, oh, why are you gonna pick on people who are just so enthusiastic, or why are you gonna make fun of people for trying hard or something? It's not like it's because they're hardworking. It's nothing to do with it. It's like the way they go about stuff is just like annoying, and it's not anybody else's fault for thinking it's annoying.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
I am looking forward to certain people being voted off of this season, hopefully sooner rather than later. And I will tell you right now that neither of those people are Rodney or Dan. I kind of want them to stay in for a while.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah. I mean, Rodney's getting weird at it, like you said, where I can't tell if we're meant to like laugh at him or actually take him seriously when he says, down the road I'm gonna get rid of Mike. And like even though like you can kind of laugh at him because of his edit, that can be like a serious like foreshadowing of like he does have a huge like following where it's like okay these people can definitely get rid of Mike when the time comes. So I don't know, maybe Rodney could be sitting at the end there and like people laugh at him like they laughed at Tony last season, or
yeah,
for
and I
Diane.
think that Rodney, like, say all you want about him, not you, but everybody else. Uh,
Yeah,
he's getting a lot of strategic confessionals. He's getting a lot of strategic confessionals, and they're not jokes. Like, not just like, oh, I'm gonna, get the goon squad and do all this, and like, it's like some actual good strategy coming from him. And I mean, as much as it rubs me the wrong way when people on like Facebook comments of Survivor post have been like, "Oh my God, Sierra sucks. She should have gotten rid of Dan," even though that's like the stupidest move ever because she theoretically very easily could be sitting at the end with Rodney and Dan, and she
yeah,
wins. Like that's a very easy path. Go to the final four with Mike, hope that he loses, and then get rid of him. Like she could win by doing
yeah.
that. There is no chance for her to win if she flips and goes with the Girl Alliance. Like there's very little chance.
I know. Sierra's definitely playing one of the best games out there right now. Like in my mind, no doubt about it. Because she definitely puts the game before any emotions, and I feel like she doesn't give enough credit that she's actually playing the game like really well. I like watching Sierra play. I used to not like with the whole Lindsay thing. It's like okay, Sierra, like get over it. But she's actually like going with what's best for her game, and I think she knows that, and it's cool to watch that. But also with Rodney, you have that. There's one thing like the confessional after Joe wins immunity again. He says if we had kept Joaquin and got rid of Joe, we wouldn't have to deal with this right now, and we'd be saying like if they had gotten rid of Joe and kept Joaquin, they wouldn't have any problems. It probably would have made for a more boring season, but still, like there is some truth in that, and it's things like that where it's like it makes me question if we should be like really taking Rodney seriously or not.
No,
I think
I
that we
think that
should.
Rodney, like when you think about it, if Rodney wins, that'd be pretty cool. That like
Yeah,
I couldn't like I can't disagree that that'd be pretty awesome. Like as much as I'm not like rooting for him, and I think he's kind of like slime ball. Um, that would be pretty fucking funny to watch that. That'd be like there's never been anybody like Rodney to win. You could argue they're just like a Fabio, but with like I don't even know what personality like I would attribute to a Fabio body, but like I don't know. that'd be crazy. And he's getting some strategic. Like there has to be either he's gonna make a move
Mhm.
or uh, he's gonna win. So I feel like it's most likely he's gonna make a move, maybe try and get Mike, and Mike's gonna use the idol and get him out, or Mike's gonna actually go, or something's gonna happen. I feel like Rodney's gonna try and do something because it would be really weird if he just got voted off next episode because people are like, oh, I don't like this guy, let's vote him off. That'd be really weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's
We'll
talk
have to
about
see.
let's talk about Mama C. Carolyn because we haven't said a word about her, and it doesn't have to be long, but like I agree with you. I think Sierra's playing a great game. I think Carolyn is playing the best game out there right now because when the dust settles,
Mhm.
people are gonna see, oh my God, Tyler, like he's a big threat. We have to get rid of him, and no one sees Carolyn as that. She's just Mama C, and she has an idol. So I mean, she's in a pretty good spot right now. I don't see her going home for like a few episodes unless some really weird shit happens.
You always know a person's in one of the best spots in the game if you start calling them Mama. You
Yeah,
know, like if they actually accept her as like that role, and like Rob has a podcast, does his whole like archetypes every season on like who plays that archetype and stuff, and like the mother role is always like a probably important role. Like Dawn played that role, she made it all the way to the end. There's a million others in Survivor history, but like I feel like she's completely safe, and I completely agree with you. She could, Sierra's on the good path right now. As I said, like if everything goes her way, she gets to Final Four. There's no way she's not going to make it to Final Travel. But Carolyn has that like idol in her back pocket, and she could definitely flip the game before like they take them out. They take out the two white collars, and it may not be four blue collars sitting in the Final Four. It may be Carolyn, Tyler, and two other blue collars, and I feel like she's in a really, really good spot. I agree with you.
yeah. I think that like if I was on the show, I would want Carolyn around because one, like I'm hopefully I'll be able to beat her,
Uh-huh.
and two for like personal sanity because she's like someone I could bitch to about all the other fucking annoying people here,
Yeah.
and like that type of person is super valuable. Someone who simultaneously you can get along with, kind of like a breath of fresh air in like the sea of bullshit you have to deal with on Survivor, and you feel like you can beat them in the end. Like they're not a huge threat. So I feel like it'd be smart for them to keep Carolyn, but I don't know what this cast is gonna fucking do. I've stopped even trying to make predictions anymore because like it never actually happens. It never works out in my
Yeah.
favor. But so the scenes of the next episode. Let's talk about that because that was super interesting. Jen's not gonna quit. That'd be way too sweet for me. It ain't gonna happen. Uh, how do you think it's gonna pan out next week though?
Well, it wasn't even like, oh yeah, Jen like sounds like she's gonna quit. It just says a contestant thinks of throwing in a towel, and then it's Jen at camp being like, I can't handle this. It's like, yeah, because you're surrounded by a bunch of fucking Indians. That doesn't make you like want to quit. I definitely think it's a misdirection. I don't think Jen's gonna quit. Maybe someone else might quit, but I don't think anything's gonna happen. I think
No,
it's just gonna be like,
no one's gonna quit, but I think that Jen is gonna fucking be a big baby about it. Like, oh my God, I got stung by a bee, and then like you're in fucking Nicaragua, you're in a rainforest, it's a bee sting, suck it up. Like you would like Max got simultaneously like I don't think we're understanding this. Like he got as much as Max is annoying, he got stung in both feet by a stingray. Like that's painful. That's painful, and people
that's
still
also
like
that's
people
also
give him
really
shit.
stupid.
Yeah, people, it's stupid, but like, oh, and then people give him shit for like putting his feet in boiling water. Like, that's how it worked out. But Jen's like, oh my God, she got stung by a bee, and then she had to hang up on the pole for, it was probably like, she was probably on there for like 2 more minutes before falling off. Like, I mean, it, and this week she's just gonna be like, oh my God, Jen's gone. Like, there's no point. Like, it made no sense for Sierra not to come with us. Like, we were gonna take to the end, and she was gonna win, and yeah, like, no, it made perfect sense, and she's just bitching because she's losing. Like, just because she didn't pull an idol out of anywhere because it was an opportune time for someone to kill a chicken. uh, she's going to complain because things don't work out perfectly for her, even though she's been pretty lucky the entire time.
Or I don't know. I mean, I feel like there is some weird editing going on where it's like last episode she pulled out the idol, but like yeah, they gave her credit where it's like, oh yeah, that was a good play. That was a really good play, you know. But I feel like she's not getting the edit where it's like she's gonna like win the game, you know. And that for me makes me happy. I could be a bad person for that, but I like knowing that Jen probably won't win this game.
Yeah, but you know what I don't like is that she's going to have a fucking one-way ticket on season 31. That's what I don't like, especially on an edited TV show where they're just picking their, like, productions picking people basically who they want to be on the next season. And she's one of them. Like, I will bet you, like, $1,000,000 that she's going to be one of them. And
Wait,
her
do you wanna,
edits.
what? Actually, let's bet. Let's bet $10 that Jen. I'll bet because I don't want her to get on. I really don't want her to get on. I agree with you. She probably will get on, but I really don't want her to. So I'll bet $10 she's not going to get on.
Okay, fine. I'll bet you $10 she'll get on. And this is good because if my worst fear that she gets on is realized, then at least I get $10. And if she's not on, I'll be happy to like fucking give you as much money as you want. Like, I'll be
Okay.
in such a good mood, and I'll just be so giving. But yeah, with Jen, she's definitely not getting, she's getting like a shit disturber edit, just like someone who's like snarky in a bad mood all the time, who thinks they're the shit, but I don't even know if they mean to edit this, but that's just my perception, and I have a pretty good read on people. Uh, but
Oh, totally, totally.
totally. Uh, but she's definitely just getting like the shit disturber edit. I could definitely see her getting that whatever secret power that they're hiding from us still. I could definitely see her getting her hands on that and blindsiding someone and having all of America, love her for one episode, and then she does another bunch of horrible shit the next episode and eventually goes home. But I think that there's 5 season 30 potential returnees. Name all 5 right now. Who do you think?
5 potential attorneys for season 30.
That are going to be in the pool for season 31.
Jen, Shireen. That's the 2 girls that I think will get on. Mike, Joe. If Mike doesn't win, and they said one of the guys is pre-merge, so either Vince or Joaquin or something like that.
If it's Max,
Yeah.
Jack. If it's Max, I'm gonna like.
I'm probably not gonna vote for him, but
Oh, well, you better not. You better not vote for Max.
but no, I feel like as the season's going, Mike's probably gonna win, so I'm gonna put down Joe and Rodney.
I think
Those,
Rodney would be a fantastic returnee.
yeah,
I want to come. I like this is bad because like with the America's Vote type people, like the people that vote for this might not be thinking, they might just be like, oh my God, Keith was so cool, I'll vote him back in, and oh Joe's such a sweetie. Like it's gonna all be those type of people that, like, you're not gonna have the villains you need. Like Cass might not be voted in. But hopefully Cass, like we're gonna vote for Cass, but like
yeah,
hopefully people smarten up and vote for Cass. But it's not like they're voting for her because they like her. Like people would be like, but for the girls it's different because like a lot of them are from like I don't want to be mean, but they're forgettable and they're from older seasons. Like Monica from season 19, zero chance. Michaela from 23, like who is that? Like who cares? And there's like half the people on there are just like they didn't do anything on the show and they just they were attractive, so they put
yeah.
them on. But
I really hope PG can get on, and I really hope that yeah, I really hope PG can get on. I can't remember. I really hope Shane can get on. And like those are people that are like, I'm not sure casuals will remember them, but those are people that definitely like need to come back for the show's sake. Those are good casts.
yeah, and it's like the bad thing about this season is that like in Cagayan, I was just so like season 29 and 30, they weren't even in my view. Like couldn't even I wasn't excited for them. I wasn't even thinking about them. Like I was consumed in season 28, and I was so excited to see how it was going to pan out, who was going to come out on top, and like who was going to win. But for this season, I spent 29 basically looking forward to season 30, and now that we're in season 30, I'm basically just looking forward to season 31. And like the finish, like I want to see how it pans out, but it's not in a positive way. Like, oh, I'm excited to see what happens, who wins, who gets voted off. I'm just hoping that the people I want to get fucked over and have their dreams die on my television screen so I can laugh at them. I hope that happens, and I hope the least mediocre person wins the show. Like, it's such a negative way of viewing it. And in Kagayan, I was so excited. Even in San Juan del Sur, I was a little bit more excited. But, I know that some people who might watch this, they might disagree with everything we're saying. This is a great season. I love Shireen. I resonate with her so much because I'm fucking weird also, and this and that. Um, but I respectfully disagree. You can comment on the video. I just think the season sucks so far, and I think that Jeff was horrible in in saying that this is going to be the best season ever. Just shut up, Jeff. Always learn from your Caramone mistake. I thought he learned. I thought he learned and was actually going to give it was actually going to meet the hype. And I know there's a lot of season left, but even if it's the best Survivor episodes ever, these next episodes, it's still going to be middle tier for me. There's nothing that can change that. With this cast, middle tier.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like it was the same thing even with Blood vs. Water. Blood vs. Water had an amazing, amazing fucking pre-merge. And then merge, even though I love that season to death, it's still middle tier because the pre-merge was lackluster, and Tyson just steamrolled all the way. I feel like the same thing is going to be with, this season. Even if it's an amazing fucking, merge after, these last few episodes, I don't know. The pre-merge sucked, still middle tier.
Yeah, well, I think Blood versus Water, there was certainly some boring moments, but the pre-merge was great. Pre-merge was great. And post-merge, you had the Laura Moret blindside, and you had the drawing.
Rocks.
I think the drawing rocks single-handedly, that was a really, really great moment. And sure, the finale was it was kind of boring at times because it's oh, Tina's back in the game, and then we have the same tribal council 3 times in a row. It's Monica, come on our side. Monica's flip, and it was kind of beating a dead horse. But
Monica's gonna do what Monica wants to do. What's best for Monica's game.
Yeah, I mean, but I think this season, lackluster pre-merge, beginning of merge hasn't been much. You have the Kelly shocking blindside of someone I couldn't care less about. Shocking blindside of Haley, someone who brought nothing to the table in terms of entertainment. You have 2 people voted off who literally don't matter in terms of Survivor. Them as Survivor players couldn't care less if they stay, if they go. I'm glad they're gone, at early so they don't have to waste space at the final 6. But I am looking forward more to Big Brother Canada at this point. Are we going to do a Big Brother Canada podcast after this? Just a short one?
Can we do it later today?
Cool, yeah. We can do it later today. That works. Any more Survivor-related stuff?
What was your funniest moment?
Oh, right. There had to have been something. I'm pretty sure I had one in my head a while ago.
Maybe Joe trying to choke on the clue. That was funny.
I like Tyler's confessional about that when he's yeah, I look to my right and I see you thought it was gonna be kind of just slime and yeah, I saw Joe trying to stash the clue, and I knew that in that moment that I had to approach him about it, say something to get him to know that I was onto him. But it was yeah, I turned to my right and I see Joe choking to death on a hidden immunity clue. It was so blunt and it was pretty funny. So
yeah,
I'll give this to Tyler for that.
Okay, someone I can finally get behind. Woo! Congratulations, Tyler. Woo!
So if you had to pick one person to actually choke to death on a hidden immunity clue, who would it be?
Are you really asking that question?
I'm asking it
Hey,
because if you answer it, it'll make you look pretty bad, and I think
but
that's
you
kind of funny.
but you know the answer to that question already.
You know my answer also.
Well, then we don't have to say it.
Yeah, we don't have to say it. Okay, so hopefully next episode's gonna be better. What are there's 10 people left?
Yeah.
Damn, there's a lot of fucking people that need to be voted off.
Yeah.
I wish they all could be voted off next week, but sadly, like the thought process of like if I hate 5 people, the prospect of any of them getting into like the final 7, like 4 votes from now, makes me sick. So
Yeah.
I wish they all could just be tied for last. But that's
Hey,
just
well,
because
there's
I
only one winner. There's only one winner.
there's only one
So,
winner. It's just because I have too much hate in me. I'm just too hateful of a person. But
that's true. That's true. That's that's true. Oh well.
well, we'll watch next week. Hopefully, actually, you know what? Hopefully, I have equally as much to bitch about because this was actually pretty therapeutic. It's been bugging me for a little while, this Survivor stuff. So I feel like I can finally air it all out and then go live my life without obsessing with how much I hate certain Survivor people.
Hey, well, you're
Um,
welcome. You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll do a llama talk
Yeah.
next week. Some point. Hopefully, this episode's good. Hopefully, this season is turns out to be the best one ever, and we're stupid idiots.
Yeah.
Um, but llama talk.
Yeah. See you later, Magnus.
See you, dude.
Woo!